Check one, check one. You're so sweet, Maria. Yeah. You like to be on the video, huh? You just got a nice Lego, and Mama combed your hair. And you got lotion. You love it when Mama gives you lotion, huh? Check one, check. Alright folks, just doing a sound check. Trying to get the right angle on the dangle. Whoa, Maria! Yeah, sweetie. So Maria's helping me do the sound check. Good job, sweetie. Yeah. You do these talking head videos, you go, aw, thank you, sweetie. Give Papa a kiss. Aw, so sweet. Huh? What's that mean? I had to get Mama to translate. I don't know that one. Maria always speaks Tagalog. She understands English, but she's always speaking Tagalog. Okay. You gonna go play with Force G? Alright, thank you for doing the sound check with Papa. Thank you. Oh, life is good. Life is good, and I realize I talk slow because there's that just slow lag on the headphones. So when you got those headphones on, it makes me talk slow. More slow than I already talk. Alright, let me get this thing set up. And I'm going to tell you the story. I don't know what I'm going to title the video, but I'm just going to tell a story. Thanks for joining me. I'll be right back. Hey folks, how's everybody doing? Let me turn this here screen around so I look at you guys right there in the camera. And so I'm not tempted to look at myself over there on the side screen. Alright, so welcome to this video. Again, it's a talking head video. The scenery's not going to change. Just going to tell a story about my missing wedding ring. Now, I don't even know where to begin. I'm not big on material things. I don't own a lot of material possessions. When I left America, I gave all my shit away. When I say gave it all away, I mean I do not have a storage locker in America. I just liquidated everything, because when you're trying to travel the world, you're trying to live as an expat somewhere, material things in your home country it just costs you money. You know, even if you liquidate everything and you're renting 2 storage lockers, you know, that are $100 a month, hell, that's your rent over here, or that's half your rent over here. And if you're paying that on a storage locker back in the States, you're just throwing money down the hole. And basically, you know, if you end up staying over here, the rats are over there in America eating your junk that ain't worth nothing. And, you know, if you end up dying over here, they're just going to auction that shit off for $50, and somebody's going to root through it and, you know, maybe put some of your shit on eBay and make a little bit of money. But basically, it's useless. Material possessions are basically anchors that cost you money if you're trying to travel and trying to live on the overstay road for cheap. So material possessions mean really nothing to me. I'm just not impressed. I'm impressed with tools, with good quality tools that I use on a daily basis. I'll give you, for example, my Lodge 3.2 quart cast iron combo cooker that's made in America by the good folks down in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, my friends. Okay, that's a valuable piece of equipment to me. That's a tool. I use it every day. So if I were to pack up and displace and go anywhere else, that Lodge is coming with me, because that's what I cook the majority of our meals out of. Is it sentimental to me? Yes and no. I mean, I've cooked a lot of meals out of it, but don't think that if I need to move tomorrow that I won't give that thing away to somebody else who will use it. I'm not putting it in storage and coming back for it. That's the way I look at things. My camera gear, those are tools. Am I sentimental to it? No. If I can get to the point where I upgrade to an FX3, I'm giving this camera that I'm talking to away to somebody else who can use it. So I'm not one of those type of people. I'm not saying that I didn't used to be, but I don't collect material things, try to grow material things. I'm quite the opposite. As we collect things and they get too crowded around me, I purge the system. It's the same way with the ref. If I go in the ref and there's a bunch of stuff that's in there, we give it away. Just get rid of it, purge it. Too much material things around me, crowding me, taking away the minimalism and the wide open space and the freedom of not having clutter. I give it away. That's why I like to move, because it gives me an excuse every 6 months, or how often we move, or we move around rooms, even if we're just moving right down the road. It gives me a reason to purge some of our material possessions that we've just naturally accrued, to slim back down the load. So yeah, that's a big, huge preface to talk about a missing gold ring. Now, this gold ring was sort of sentimental to me because of where it come from. I've had it for a long time, and it was sentimental. But not many things in my life are. So I just want to preface that by saying, I'm not one of those that's devastated by losing something like that. I'm just more of a minimalist. As long as we got food to eat and we're safe, that's my mindset. I don't give a shit about material items. I really don't. I'm not impressed by your Mercedes. I'm not impressed by your BMW. I'm not impressed by your big ass mansion that you paid $3 million for. It's just my mindset now. It's changed. What happened to this ring? Everything's my fault. Let me just come out and say it's my fault that this ring come up missing. We could use the word stolen. You could say come up missing. You could say grew legs. However you want to term it. But basically, this ring is missing because of this guy right here. You can't blame nobody else from here on out in the story. I did it to myself. It was my fault. It is my fault. I take full responsibility for my actions, whether good, bad, or ugly, and learn from it and move forward. That's just the way it's got to be. And if I don't air my dirty laundry for the younger generation to learn from my mistakes, then they're going to repeat the same stuff. So there you go. My fault why this ring come up missing. How did it break down? Okay. Had a bad day. Had a bad afternoon. Started partaking of the nectar of the gods because I had a few bottles that I brought with me on this little excursion. That's a Maker's Mark of water right there over ice. Refreshing. Absolutely refreshing. So got out, got to mixing it up, got to mixing and mingle, ran into some ladies on the street, just met them on the street, started hanging out with them, and the next day I couldn't find my ring. We can spare all the particulars, but the next day when everything starts coming to, my watch is there, but what I did, I take my watch, bad habit of taking my watch off, taking the ring off, putting the ring in the center of the watch. So where I left my watch, it was there. The ring was gone. So, I'm looking around. Maybe it dropped it, what have you. Maybe I tucked it away somewhere. I couldn't find it. Now, this isn't the first time I've lost this ring. There's a bigger story to it. The ring is too big for me. And I refused to go get it sized, so it's fallen off my finger in so many places over the years, but I've always been able to recover it. It's fallen off in a restaurant, bar, you know, various places, and just by sheer luck, I was able to recover it. And on this occasion, I couldn't find it, and I'm like, damn, you know, I must have, you know, dropped it walking up and down the street, you know, left it at a bar, or it fell off when I went to take a piss. I mean, who the hell knows? You know, if you try to wear a ring that's too big for you, a size too big. I used to have, and it's my damn fault, I used to have some string on there where it fit perfect. And the string ended up coming off, and just out of sheer laziness, I didn't put the little string back on there to make it fit perfect. Again, it's my fault. I got nobody to blame but this guy. I am the captain of my own destiny, and I certainly believe that. And while, you know, in life, circumstances sometimes dictate the position you're in, whatever, but I'm not one of those that, and that's a big problem with America. Big, huge problem with America is that everybody wants to blame others for their mistakes and for their woes and for the reason they didn't get this and they couldn't do this. They want to blame somebody. You know, the rest of the world ain't like that. That's why Americans are so fucking weak. We have gotten to the point that we're so weak because we want to blame everybody else for the problems and come up with excuses. And people will entertain your horse shit, from the damn returns desk at Walmart to the lawyers in the court system. You know, started with Walmart. They'll take anything back. You could take like Rodney Carrington said, you could take a damn pack of diapers back that already been shit in, and they'll give your money back because the diapers weren't any good. You know, we're real sorry about that. Here's a new pack of diapers. And then you got fucking lawyers from cases where people spill the damn coffee on their lap, and then they sue McDonald's because the coffee's too hot. Okay, all this shit is a problem with America. People blaming others for their fucking problems and not taking responsibility for themselves. If somebody's handing you a hot cup of coffee and you drop it in your lap and burn your balls, that's your fault. Not the fucking coffee machine or McDonald's or the people who made it. What do you want, cold coffee? No, you want piping hot coffee. When they hand it to you, you better get a good grip on it or you're going to burn the hair off your nuts. But, country of America, we blame everybody else for our problems, and you end up getting a couple $1 million for it, right? Okay, thus the decline of a great nation. Shit like that. The rest of the world don't give a fuck. You know, you come over, you go outside of America, outside the West, and somebody hands you a cup of hot coffee that you just ordered, and you spill it on your lap and burn the hair off your balls. That's on you. You ain't getting no money, no compensation. You're not even gonna get another cup of coffee, Jack, unless you pay for it. You dropped that shit. Okay, not me, not the waitress. You dropped it. Hey, you know, too bad for your balls. But you want another cup of coffee? That's gonna be another 50 pesos, Jack. So, my fault. I put the ring down, lax on security. Could have had the string on there to make it the right size where, you know, it wouldn't fall off my finger, what have you. So anyhow, the ring is missing. Did I mention I was doing a little drinking? So I can't quite remember. Can't quite accuse anybody. But you do a quick assessment, and you always look at the positive in things. I did a quick assessment after that night. Hey, did I sleep with any disreputable women? No. Am I in trouble with anybody? No. I owed a bill over at a restaurant, went over there and tried to pay it. They said, no, you're straight, don't worry about it. If that's the worst that I did on a night of being out on the town, I'll take that. I'll take that, because people, maybe including you, have certainly done a lot more damage on a night of drinking and got yourself into a lot worse trouble than just losing a ring. I made it home safely, had my wallet, all my ID cards, didn't get injured, didn't sleep with any disreputable women. didn't get locked up. I mean, maybe some of you have been out on a night of drinking and, you know, maybe went to jail for whatever reason, right? That's a bad night, right? So for me, it was a light night. All I did was lose a ring. But, you know, I said, well, and I had the numbers to a couple of these young ladies. And so I just said, let me throw it out there. I was like, hey, I can't find my ring. I'm not accusing nobody of stealing it, but, you know, can you see if anybody remembers what I did with my ring? Maybe I gave it to some girl in a bar and asked her to marry me. I've done stupid stuff like that before, too. And you know, thinking they would say, oh, yeah, you give it to some girl at this bar or what have you. And the first young lady said, she said, you know, basically, no, she didn't know anything about the ring. And I said, look, I'm going to tell you what. I'm not mad at nobody. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I said, if somebody can help me recover that ring, I'll give you 5,000 pesos because I really want my ring back. And that's $100, but that's a lot of money here. So I said, hey, I'll just offer anybody $100 if you can help me get my ring back. No questions asked. I don't care who's got it, what happened to it, if somebody pilfered it, if, you know, I gave it to some girl in a bar. 1,000 pesos. 1,000 pesos to whoever helps me get it back. Okay. So I didn't hear back much of anything from them for a couple of days. And I guess, I don't know, 2-3 days went by. And I get a text from a young lady. Hey, don't trust the other two ladies because my friend said she saw both of those ladies go to a pawn shop and pawn a ring. And I said, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Apparently this trio, 1, 2, 3 of them, somebody somehow or another got the ring. Whether they flat out took it, whether I dropped it, they picked it up, whether I said, hey, hold this, whatever. They got the ring, right? It's quite apparent at this point, or so it seemed. So I said, hey, look. I said, I told you in the beginning, I'll give you 5,000 pesos. Whoever helps me get it back. If somebody pawned it, just tell me what the pawn shop is so I can go buy it back. You know, not trying to get nobody in trouble. She's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm going to ask my friend what pawn shop they went to. I said, all right, find out and then meet up with me. So the next day or so, I meet up with this girl, with another girl who I've never met before. And they take me to this pawn shop. And they go in there and they're speaking in Tagalog, talk to the security guard, talk to the manager, and explain it to them. And so I'm just sitting there. I have no idea what they're saying, but obviously this is the place. Obviously the girl saw those other two chicks go in there. And this is where me and a gentleman in there, and I use that term lightly because he was an asshole, got off to the wrong foot. You know, I'm wearing the fucking Fauci death mask. And when I go to talk to him, I'm like, hey man, listen, can I talk to you? Because I have no idea what they said. And I pull the mask down just a little bit, and he just points at me and gestures like, you know, like he's fucking God or something, telling me to pull my mask back up. Well, he's standing there with no mask on. That's the wrong thing to say to me right now, especially in my mindset. I don't talk about it a lot anymore. I'm not harping on this Halloween project that's still going on, this ridiculousness. But when a motherfucker's standing there wearing no mask and acts like he's the fucking, you know, like he's either a dictator or he's motherfucking Fauci or like he's God, just telling me like that. I mean, I just walked in. I've never met this dude. Just respectful. Hey, sir, can I talk to you for a minute? And he pulls that shit, and you're standing there with no mask. That was the wrong thing to say to me, you know. And so it went downhill from there. So he was not going to cooperate. Now, basically, I was like, look, the girls say that these chicks pawned my ring here. But the thing about it is they don't know my ring. The only person here in this building that knows if it's my ring is me. Could you please just show me the gold rings that were pawned on this date, and I can tell you if it's my ring or not. And I'll be glad to pay the ticket, buy it back. I'm not trying to short you any money. And the guy was an asshole. But it started out because of the mask drama. Well, sir, we can't do that because it's confidentiality to our clients. I'm like, it's confidential that you just lay out a damn gold band where I can say that's mine or not. I'm not asking to look at the paperwork. So me and him had a pissing contest. He gets on the phone, and then what he says is, you got to go get a police report. You bring the police report and give us a copy of the report, and then we'll lay out the rings where you can visually say if it's yours or not, and then we'll go from there. And I'm like, dude, okay, if that's what we have to do, I'll do it. But I said, I didn't want to get the police involved. I just want the damn ring back. And I'm not trying to short you the money. I'm going to pay the money. But we had already butted heads. So obviously he wasn't going to cooperate. And so I rolled out of there, went to the Popo, nicest folks over there. You know, went in, talked to the gentleman. I said, look, man, I'm not here to generate any paperwork. I didn't even want to come over here, but, you know, I told him the story and told him, hey, man, this guy won't even show me the rings unless I get a report, but I don't really want a report. It might not be my ring. You know, these chicks might have pawned somebody else's ring over there for all I know. He says, don't worry. He sent this gentleman with me. And so, you know, now I'm riding in the Popo's truck. At least I was riding in the front and the chicks were in the back. It was funny. So we get over there. And this is the even more funny part. The girls walk in and I walk in, and there's that jackass standing right there with no mask on, right? So he sees us coming, and I don't know what he was expecting, but he's about to start running his mouth. And then he saw that officer walk in behind us. That son of a bitch, like Flash, what do they call him? The Flash. He was scrambling for that damn Corona mask. Where is it? Where is it? He threw it on, about ripped his damn ears off getting his fucking mask on when he saw the Popo come in behind us. You know? And then me and him had a few more words, and I was like, look, dude, we got off on the wrong foot, but I'm going to tell you why. It's because you were yakking me about how properly adjusting my fucking Halloween mask when you're standing there not wearing a fucking mask. And I said, that set me off, man. I was already upset about my missing ring. You weren't cooperating, but you want to yak me about my fucking mask, and then, sir, no, I was trying to drink my coffee. You know, just fucking shithead, just a lying fucking shithead. And then had the nerve, you know, to go and say, oh, and you were drinking during a liquor ban. I was like, bro, you were one fucking piece of shit individual. You're just a fucking turd. And if you're watching my video, that's my opinion of you. That's my opinion of you. You know, we came in there just to ask you some questions and try to get some help. And you're just an asshole to society. And if you act like that to me, you act like that to everybody else. And basically that's what I observed, the way he was handling the other people. He's just an asshole. Maybe he was having a bad day. Whatever. But the funniest fucking thing was when him trying to find that fucking mask. Because he was standing there all big and bad till he saw that uniform and then, oh shit, and he knew he was in the wrong. So anyhow, finally, he lays the shit out. And it's like I told him from the beginning. I said, look, dude, I'm trusting these two girls here. They don't know if that's my fucking ring. Those girls could have pawned somebody else's ring. It's just pretty simple. If you just showed me the gold on that one day, I could have left 2 minutes later. So he lays it out, and I look, and I'm like, nope, that's not my stuff. None of that's my stuff. It wasn't expensive gold. You could tell that it was cheaper jewelry that had been pawned, right? So I was like, nope, that's not mine. And, you know, me and him had a few more words, and I'm like, hey, dude, it's, you know, whatever. You know, you started this shit. You could have easily just told me what I had to do. Okay, but when you want to play Dr. Fauci, man, that was a wrong fucking road to hoe, standing there with no mask on with a guy like me. I don't want to hear your shit. So we roll out of there, and we end up, he talks to the two ladies. And everything's in Tagalog. I don't know what's going on. Next thing you know, we're driving towards this third lady's house. We get over there, they talk to the third lady, and we load her up. And then we go to another place and load up. I don't know what's going on. At one point, I look back there and there was nothing but beautiful ladies in the back of this truck. I'm like, damn, how many ladies we got back there? Shit, I need to ride in the back, man. I'm riding up here in the wrong spot. So finally, the gentleman, the officer, gets down to business, and next thing you know, we're heading to this area where there are gold shops. You know, the shops that say "We buy gold." And we get over there, and we get out, and the girl that actually pawned the ring, the reason that she had to pawn the ring is because out of this whole trio of villains here, she's the only one that had a valid ID. Okay, so it was like a conglomerate. The other two, I think, were the actual villains, but the third girl was the only one who had an ID, and you have to have a valid ID that's not expired to pawn anything or to sell anything. So we go in the shop, and you know, you get these deer in the headlight looks, and it's obviously we're in the right place. Then we go down a few more stalls because apparently that place collaborated with the other place. And you just see these deer in the headlight looks, and people are fidgeting, people are getting nervous, you know, because the police officer is standing there. And they're like acting like they don't know this girl, and the girl's talking to her. She obviously knows her, but the people working there are acting like they don't know who she is. And you know, I run a legitimate business, and blah 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 blah. And they're talking, and everybody's lying. It's quite obvious they're not being truthful. I said, stop. I said, listen, I'm not here to cause any problems. It's not your fault that these ladies came and pawned my ring. That's not your job to investigate it. They brought a ring. You gave them money for it. I said, I'm just here to buy it back. And the ladies already told us that the gold shop gave them 12,000 pesos for this ring. Now, 12,000 pesos is approximately $240 US, and I thought that was high for the quality and whatever. I think they paid them way too much, but that's another thing. So I knew they gave 12,000. I said, look, I'm here to buy it back. If you have it, bring it back. I'll give you 12,000 for it right now, and we're gonna walk away. There's no paperwork. There's no accusations. You know, I just want my ring back. Pretty simple. No, everybody wins. Nobody's going to jail. There's no report. Nobody's looking bad. You know, with your business taking in any property like that. I said, I just want to buy it back. Now, folks, I used to be in this business, and I know when people are bullshitting. I know when people are lying. You know, when you work as a cop, and for 8 to 12 hours a day, everybody you come in contact with lies to you. You get pretty good at detecting bullshit, right? So there's obviously some bullshit going on, and they're scared. I mean, they're scared. Obviously, they don't want to go to jail. They don't want their business to get fined or shut down. They don't want no trouble. And oh, by the way, they ain't going to lose not one peso. In places like this, there is no shrinkage. No shop is going to lose money. It's not like you're going to go there and they're going to give you the ring back, and then it's between her and the thieves to work out that money. It don't work like that here. It don't work like that outside the West in places like the Philippines. They're not losing money. You got to figure out a way to where they're happy, they don't lose money, and then you might get it back. Well, that's wishful thinking if you listen to the rest of the story. But they are certainly not going to lose no money. So I told her this. I said, hey, look, I'm just here. If you have it, sell it to me. I said, matter of fact, I'll give you 13,000. You make 1,000 pesos right now. It's all my fault. I'm not blaming nobody. Just sell it to me right now, and we're out of here. And they come up with this excuse that said, well, you know, we're not sure which ring it is, so we've got to check the CCTV to see what ring that girl handed over. Okay, yeah, that's a good stalling technique that come out of her head. You know, maybe she had that can, maybe she's used that before. I said, okay. I said, here's my number, or no, the lady said, here's my number. Come back tomorrow at 10 a.m. and we'll have it. I said, no problem. I'll be here at 10 a.m. Give you 13,000 pesos. And she just keeps repeating, I don't take stolen property. I run a legitimate business here. I said, Darling, we're beyond that. We're beyond that line of discussion. I don't care. I've already said it's not your fault. I know whose fault it is. It's these three ladies that brought it here, but ultimately it's my fault. I'll see you at 10 o'clock. I'm bringing 13,000, and I'm not bringing the police officers. No need for him to come back, okay? We've solved the case. Just go find it, and I'll buy it back. You make a sale. You make 1,000 pesos. Everybody should be happy. So the girl who actually pawned it, I scooped her up, and we go back over there the next day. Boom, walk in, it's the same deer in the headlight look. They're fidgeting around. There's a bunch of shit in Tagalog. And I'm like, look, I'm going to step out here on the sidewalk. I had to make a phone call. And y'all figure this out. Just let me know if you get it worked out. They're talking. I go back in there and, just telling the same lie. Sir, I don't even remember, taking anything from this lady, blah, 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 blah. And we're not sure, which one it is. What size is the ring? I'm like, look, I don't know what size it is. And they're like, well, we'll check your size. I said, it's not my ring size. It's a different size. I don't know what size ring it is. Just bring out the gold bands that you took in the past week, and I'll see if it's mine. It's pretty simple. And they just kept, fidgeting around, and I said, look, is the ring here or not? Yes or no? Do you have the ring? And the last thing I understood was yes, but we don't know where it's at. I said, okay, look, here's my number. She's like, give me 3 days. I said, all right, I give you 3 days, no problem. Here's my number. Come up with the ring, text me, I'll come buy the ring. It's over. You made 1,000 pesos. And so, a lot of things here in this country, logic doesn't apply. There are just so many things that are illogical that you have to either deal with it or, stay 3 beers into it and just let it go over your head. The logic that she was laying down doesn't add up. Do you have the ring? Yes or no? Well, yes, but we don't know where it's at. What do you mean you don't know where it's at? Is it in the shop? Is it at your freaking house? Did you already sell it? So I walked out of there, like a lot of situations here, just, perplexed, but not disappointed because I had already written it off. Because it's like I said, it's kind of like a lost and found in a border town, asking about a diamond ring. Ain't nobody seen that ring. Even if they have, you ain't getting it back, Jack. This ain't America, okay? You're in a place where a lot of people in this country think about one thing, and that's getting rice to eat for that day. Their planning horizon is not even a day. They just wake up, how am I going to get money to feed everybody and buy some rice? It's not even a weekly planning horizon. It's a daily planning horizon of survival to get food. Doesn't go any further than that. So I had already written it off anyhow. So I just left out of there like, hey, just par for the course here. I'm not upset. And that's been over 3 days ago. Still haven't received a text or a message or anything like that. And basically whatever they did with it, they're just hoping that I go away. Maybe they already sold it and made a profit. And since I told them, maybe they sold it for 15, and I'm like, I'll give you 13, and she's going to lose money. So she can't tell me, hey, I've already sold it for 20. You got to pay 20. She don't want to say shit. She don't want to admit to nothing, right? So maybe they sold it for 20, and she's not going to take 12 or 13 because she's going to lose 7. See how that works? There's no shrinkage here in the Philippines. For example, had a friend check out of a hotel one time, and just by accident, the girl didn't tell them that they owed a couple thousand pesos, right? And so they left. And this girl spent like the next month or two trying to get a hold of them to pay that money. You know why? Because the desk clerk had to cover that money. The hotel don't eat it. Whoever made the mistake is going to eat that problem. And so if just say a girl makes 10,000 pesos a month, and she had to pay 2.5 on a mistake, that's 25% of her salary gone that she had to eat and she had to cover. Hotel ain't going to do it. You made the mistake. It's coming out of your check. Things like that don't work. It don't work like that in America, but that's the way it works outside the West. You're accountable. So I understand that. And I'm not mad at them. Because if you go back in the timeline, shift the timeline to the left, who is the only person I can be mad about? Is this guy right here who sat that ring down or pulled it off my finger or whatever and gave one of those 3 ladies an opportunity to pick up that ring, and they're like, wow, we're getting paid tomorrow. We're getting paid tomorrow. So that's where we left it. I know where the ring was pawned. I know the gold shop that it went into. I made them an offer to buy it back. I went there again, and they have yet to text me and say, hey, we found it, come pay us and buy it back. But that's the best situation. Now, can I go back down there with the popo and put some more pressure on them, what have you? Absolutely I could. But it's my fault. I don't want to waste anybody else's time over something that I did. And I'm going to tell you why I am not mad at any of these ladies. And why I have forgiven them for what they did. Folks, times are hard enough, and times were hard enough for people trying to make a living before this huge Halloween project broke down. And now you have places like I'm at, Angeles City. Yeah, it's a big legitimate city, but a lot of money is dependent on what? It's dependent upon tourism. And obviously there's zero tourism right here. There's a little bit of local tourism, but there's no money coming in. People are in a higher level of desperation mode than they've ever been, or at least in recent times, because of this lockdown, because this airport is not open. A lot of these girls have kids. They're trying to buy milk. They're trying to buy rice. I'm not saying some of them aren't nefarious and they're on dope or they got problems or whatever, but a lot of them, what are they trying to do? They're trying to buy rice. They're trying to buy Bear Brand milk for the babies or whatever the hell they're trying to do. They're in desperation mode. And so I always try to look at things from other people's perspective. What would I do if I had no money, no job, no skills, but I had babies that were hungry and that I had to feed? What would I do? I would do damn near anything. If those 2 kids in there were hungry, what would I do to feed them? I would do anything. And we'll just leave it at that. But there is no lengths or no deeds that I would not do to feed my kids. It's hard to understand that in the West. Nobody's hungry in America. I don't care what you say. You may have trouble paying your bills and you're a slave to the machine like everybody else with all this debt and all this stress, whatever. I got it. But you ain't starving. And if you're starving, it's because you're too lazy to fill out a government form to get free food, or you're too lazy to go down to the food bank or to one of a number of churches giving away free food. So you don't know hunger there. You've never known real hunger. You don't know what it's like truly to not have food. Ain't no free food here. There's very few little food giveaway programs. If you watch any of my previous videos, when they go around giving out free food, it's like a kilo of rice. That's 2.2 pounds. And they'll do these giveaways, once every 2 months? So a whole family gets 2 pounds of rice. So it's a different level of desperation in places like this. And right here, right now. So I understand why they did it. I laid that ring down or it dropped in the floor or whatever, and they're looking at, holy crap, that's $3 or $4 grand for each of us. That's money. And can you blame them for seizing that opportunity? Hey, sweetie.
Dada, Mama.
You want water? Hold on, come here. You got to show everybody. You got to show everybody on the video here. You're. Come here. So Maria come in here and said she wanted mom, which is water. But she's so sweet, folks. Even if she's hanging out with Fatima, she always comes to me and tells me what she wants. She's so sweet. And most of the time I get up and get it, but since I'm here talking to you guys, Fatima's getting her some water. So anyhow, the interruption in the videos because these children want some mom, and I think she's giving them some orange juice. But they're just in there in the other room playing, and got those mattresses on the floor, so they like to jump on the mattresses like a little homemade trampoline. And they're just being good kids today. My goodness, they got up in good moods, just being wonderful babies today. So let me just let me take a break, and then we'll get back to the video. Thanks for your understanding. Come here. Will you be on Papa's video? Okay. Here's my sweetie. Where'd you get the hairband, Maria? That's so cute. Who gave you that? Where'd you get that, honey? You're so sweet, Maria. They're so sweet. They just a blessing. So I kind of lost my train of thought, but I was talking about perspectives. Why I'm not mad at them. Why I absolutely forgive them. Have no animosity towards them. Because I understand the position that they're in. And if I were in their shoes, with kids to feed, you know, some foreign dude drops a gold ring, how could you not do the same thing? They're not taking that money and going out and buying clothes and shoes and partying a night on the town. They're taking that money and they're going out and buy food, rice, things like that, survival. So therefore, I'm not mad at them. And you know, talking to the ladies, and the one lady was kind of not very apologetic and just not really nice. She wasn't really nice, but the other two are just nice girls. I had conversation with them. I told them, I said, look, we're straight. I'm not mad at you. I understand what you know, why you did it, and we can still be friends. And if I'm hanging out, whatever, and you know, sitting somewhere having a drink, I might invite you over. Come hang out with me. Okay, it's done. It's finished. It's behind us. And that's just the way I'm going to have it, the way I'm going to do it, the way it is. And they both apologize. You know, they're both like, you know, I'm so sorry. You know, I'm so sorry we did that. Hey, apology accepted. Apology accepted. I said, let's look at the positive to it. You know, nobody's gotten hurt. And, you know, it's a piece of jewelry if you really break it down in the most simplistic terms. It's a piece of jewelry. The sentimental value can't be replaced, but at the end of the day, really sentimental value dies when the person that holds that value dies, and then to everybody else it's just a damn gold ring anyhow. Does that make sense? Once you lose track of the story, it's just a inanimate object. So I don't know if that explains it or not. Maybe you don't feel the same way. Maybe you would have put these young ladies in jail and you know, went over there and leaned on the gold shop owner a little bit more. I think everybody would have handled it differently, but most of the time you have no idea where it went, right? You can point the finger at people, but nobody owns up to it. At least I got some cooperation. They owned up to it. I know exactly what happened. I know exactly where it went. The mystery is solved. And it makes for a great story. makes for a great story and a great with some learning points. Okay, now let's talk about the logistics, because if you live here or live in areas like this, basically what they said and what I learned through this is most of these pawn shops, they take in low-level gold. And when I say low-level gold or low-level jewelry, it's what the locals circulate, right? They need some money, they go up there, they pawn this for 1,000 pesos, 20 bucks, they pay their bill, and they try to go get it back, right? It's low-level stuff. And what the ladies were saying, and this is not because they're hardened criminals, it's because this is just known on the streets because of the foreign presence here. They said if they end up with a foreign guy's gold or gold watch or anything expensive, the pawn shop won't give them money for that. It's too high of a level, right? You have to go to these gold shops that say we buy gold. And this particular shop that I went to had this sign, and it had, we buy gold, something about we buy Rolex, all this crap. Now, ain't many locals here in the Philippines rocking Rolexes, okay? So the fact that they've got this Rolex shit on the sign, whatever, it's quite clear how it works. So the reason I'm putting this out there is, now look, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. Just like in the States, when you go to a pawn shop, as long as you have an ID and they run the serial number, or, they have to report the serial numbers to law enforcement. If the serial numbers aren't stolen, well, you can pawn that item, right? It's not the pawn shop's responsibility to be investigators. It's not their responsibility. So if somebody shows up and pawns an item, that's the business they're in. And if you happen to be the one that it got stolen from, or the one that's missing it, how are you going to deal with that if you really want it back? So I haven't been successful. So I'm not really giving advice here. But what I'm saying is the only way I think you could get that back is to get down there and maybe up the ante on the money. This is all about money. So maybe if I went back down there and said, look, I got 20,000 pesos, laid out 20,000 pesos, turned my back and said, when I turn back around, I want my ring. Would they produce the ring? If there's that much profit in it? Probably. Or if I laid out 25,000. It's a different, you're not in Kansas anymore, right? So if, say your Rolex comes up missing, it ain't at none of these little pawn shops around here. Rule that out. It's at one of the We Buy Gold shops. That's where it's at. Because they're the only ones that deal in that higher level of jewelry, that higher level of gold and all that stuff, okay? The question is, are they going to cooperate with you to buy it back? I think that's probably the only way. But so far, I haven't been successful. And again, maybe it's because I didn't offer enough money. I just really wasn't thinking. I'm thinking, hey, let me just cover your costs and give you 1,000. That wasn't enough to grease the wheels. If they sold it for 20, now they're losing 7. That's not a good deal for them. I should have pulled out 30,000, laid it down, and that sumbitch might have walked into, showed up immediately. But again, I'm not mad. I'd already written it off. It's just my mistake. It's not like I lost a passport, I lost an ID, something that could really hurt me, or say a hard drive, or documents, stuff like that. The stuff like that can hurt you, right? Jewelry cannot hurt you. You lose jewelry, that can't hurt you. You lose cash, that's not going to hurt you. Even credit cards or an ATM card. You lose those or you get those stolen, it's one phone call and the shit's shut down. All right? Big deal. Now, I recommend when you go out, you don't take anything but cash. And I violated that because I'm rolling around with a damn broken watch on and a gold ring. Idiot. Stupid. Broke my own principles and lost the ring. So, no harm, no foul. I'm straight. It's a great story. It was an adventure. And maybe you're entertained, maybe you're not, and maybe you wouldn't handle it the same way. But that's how I handle it. Okay, with all that said, In all the years I've been coming here and partying here, I've never had anything stolen. That's the first time that something was actually taken maliciously. Now, I did come up missing an iPhone SE several years ago. But what happened, and you can call it nefarious, or maybe it wasn't nefarious, but the next day I was missing my cell phone. It was a new SE at the time, right? So whenever those iPhone SEs came out, couldn't figure out what happened to it. And then eventually it clicked in my mind what happened. I was hanging out with a young lady, drinking, went to the ATM machine, and I told her, here, hold my phone. And she took the phone and put it in her purse. I got some money out. We continued to party. At some point, we parted ways, and the phone was still in her purse. So did she A, maliciously keep the phone, or B, we just parted ways and she had no idea where the hell I went and how to get it back to me? Both are possibilities. But in all the years I've been partying and doing what I do, running the roads with my buddies, that gold ring's the first thing I've ever lost. I'm knock on some wood. Knock on some wood. So folks, what do you think? How would you handle it? You know, would you demand that somebody be held accountable? Would you lean on the gold shop people a little bit more? Would you just write it off as, hey, you know, your own stupidity? Would you forgive them? Like I've done. I mean, and truly, I'm not mad at them. I'm really not. I'm disappointed in myself. That's really the only emotion I have over this incident. That's where we're at. That's what happened to my ring. Who knows? Maybe they give me a call in the next few days and say, hey, come take a look. Is this yours? And if it is, how much I owe you? How much I owe you for my blunder? Again, I'm only disappointed with myself. Now, I didn't get any video of it, but like just one of the funniest things during this whole caper, it's just at one point we had nothing but beautiful women stacked in the back of that police truck, just riding around, going from here to there, or whatever. I'm just like, my gosh, beautiful girls stacked back there. My goodness, where all these ladies come from. It was funny. And you know, shout out to the officer that helped me out. Nicest guy, my goodness. And I hated to even bother him, but it just went back to, I wasn't going to bother them, but the one guy wouldn't lay it out and let me know if it was mine or not. So I had to get some assistance. Now the thing about it is, let's quarterback one more thing. Now those girls didn't just pluck that particular pawn shop out of the blue. That girl saw one or two of those ladies going in there pawning something. So they pawned something, but what they were pawning on that occasion didn't belong to me. So you can read into that however you want to. Does that mean that there's a lot of petty theft? I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. But you understand that the fact that there's no tourists here, there's not, you know, the income and the opportunities being generated because of the airport being closed, people are in a higher level of desperation to survive. And so, you know, when you go out, don't wear a damn gold ring, don't wear a watch. Just, you know, wear your damn Crocs and your shorts and your tank top, and then have a few pesos in your pocket, and then you ain't got nothing to worry about. Pretty simple. So it's one of those situations, do as I say, not do as I did. Violated my own principles and got clipped. I got clipped, but I ain't worried about it because I'm going platinum. I'm going platinum. And once I hit 1 million subscribers, maybe I'll go out, buy me a new gold chain, get a big nugget ring, bling it up a bit, spice things up. Nah, probably not, 'cause I'm not really into jewelry. I just like wearing that gold band every now and then. Folks, if you're not a subscriber here on my channel, the bottom right hand corner of your screen, hit that Overstay Road sign, ring that notification bell like Rocky. Yo, Adrian, it's me, Rocky. Who's that ringing that bell? It's right there, bottom right hand corner of your screen, right there. Click it. I want to thank everybody for subscribing to my channel, listening to my voice. Maybe this was long-winded, but I did allude to the fact that I was looking for a ring, and I said I'd explain it, and that's my explanation. That's my explanation. And you know, shout out to my new friends. They're still my new friends. They're still friends. I will see these ladies again. I will break bread with them. Like I said, they apologized. I forgave them. No reason not to be friends. They're good people, but they're just in a bad situation because of the decisions of others in this Halloween project and the fact that the airport's locked down. That makes sense. That's a different perspective. Alright folks, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on the next one. Let me know how you'd handle it down below in the comments. Peace out.